Shamps and Giggles. History, news, views, and reviews from a black perspective. Shamps and Giggles back for 2024. Oh my Lord. Lord, I mean, listen, ain't no stopping us now. And my man said it as we were listening to he was on I'm on Paul. He said it that there's no going back. You can't put the genie back in the bottle. It's out now. There ain't no stopping us now. We moving forward.
Yep.
Top the pigs. Shamps and Giggles. Number one on radio. I mean, literally, number one, the best radio. Talking history, news, views, and reviews from a black perspective. Good Lord. It's just amazing. What else?
Well, yeah, I was going to touch on when you mentioned the Bianca one, the sports athlete lady, just a minute ago, when you mentioned about the police and she winning the case and so on. Today, the police officers went to appeal, and the appeal judge reversed the sacking or suspension of those officers that was bashing on the two athletes' window of their car. So now they've been reinstated with full back pay. And this case has been going on for about 4 years.
With full back pay?
Yeah, full back pay. And it's up to the officers if they want to come back to the police. But they've been, it's been overturned. So literally quashed. So the Metropolitan Police Federation on the news today, he said, well, it was harsh. They should never have been suspended and sacked or got rid of. They were doing their duty. They had all rights to do what they did. We have a difficult job as it is already. So we are pleased that the appeal judge agreed with us in the first place. This should never have happened. And we're glad that he's quashed it.
Who paid for the appeal?
The Metropolitan Police. Yeah, okay. Yeah, okay. The Federation, they get their money from taxpayers. So yes, unfortunately, we are labeled payers.
You know, yes. We can tackle that one in a bit because we had a bit of an agenda. Pink is just written in there. Half of Britain can't name a historical figure. 75% of British people don't know anything about the subject and can't. And I think, Pinky, are you referring to Black history, yeah? Which is quite interesting. Let's just talk a little bit more on that because it is a big subject.
Yeah.
Yeah, and so celebrating Black history, because I did mention that when I was talking about Ammon Paul, and that little article there. But celebrating Black History Month 2024, allegedly there's a theme of around the Black History Month. So what is it that they're putting forward? Because there is for this month there is a sort of a logo, BLM, and it's red, it's black, it's green. So and those colors, Marcus Garvey, those are colors of significance, aren't they? Going back to Marcus Garvey. So let's just play that because it is Black History Month. It's our first show of the month, of course.
It is. It
is. We do want to.
Sorry, yeah, it is. Yeah. So yeah, you were
moving,
frozen a bit, but you're okay now. Yep, go ahead, Joe. Yeah.
So let's just play that one. Yeah.
Matthew Mackenzie, carer activist, promoting Black History Month. Now I'm excited to talk about Black History Month 2024 and its theme, African Americans and the Arts. As a carer of Black origin and a poet, this month isn't just a calendar event for me. It's a heartfelt celebration. Black History Month originated in the United States, but it's also a cornerstone here in the UK. People from African and Caribbean backgrounds have enriched British history for centuries. It's a time for local communities, museums, care homes and workplaces to dive deep into topics like Britain's colonial past, migration, and the vibrant music that has become a universal language. This month offers us the chance to reflect on pivotal moments in history and recognize the contributions of African and Caribbean heritage to our society. It's about celebrating the multiculturalism that shapes our communities and sparks conversations about race and equality. The 2024 theme, African Americans and the Arts, is particularly special. It spans the immense impact Black Americans have had on visual arts, music, and cultural movements. From the soulful rhythms of jazz to the revolutionary strokes of contemporary artists, their influence is undeniable. In the UK, Black History Month aims to celebrate these achievements and educate the broader population about the interconnected histories of Britain, Africa, the Caribbean, and the United States. It's a call to action for governments, institutions, and corporations to truly embrace equality and diversity. So as we honour Black History Month, let's remember to uplift and support the incredible contributions of African and Caribbean heritage people, because their story, they're everyone's history. Thanks for watching, and happy Black.
There you go. Keith, you've sort of disappeared. Oh, are you there?
No, I'm here.
But as you said, it's everyone's history.
Yeah, very true. It is everybody's history, and it's for everybody to keep talking about and keep the momentum going. And there is lots of events going on around all boroughs and all towns and cities in the UK. So I think, yes, it is good for people to keep learning, and equally it's important for Shamps and Giggles, and that's what we're about, is to keep discussing and putting forward and mentioning Black history, may it be individuals or inventions or anything. So, and that's why we're here to talk the things and to talk about the black news, views, and reviews and history going forward. And I take my hat off to us for doing that for the past 4 years. So it's just for everybody else to take up the mantle and do the same. And there is things going around, blue plaques going up, more and more blue plaques are going up around the place. I sent you a link as well, Joe, just in case. And they're saying that they're aiming to kick off Black History Month and to discuss reclaim the narratives that are going out there. So lots and lots of things are going on. And I recently read, I don't know how long it was, but I'm hoping it's recent. They're saying a London property once home to Malcolm X gets a blue plaque. And then you've got the Bristol exhibition explores 1833 slavery abolition. So there is things going around in Bristol.
Malcolm X was in the UK.
Well, that's what they're saying. Yeah, London property once home to Malcolm X gets a blue plaque. So,
wow.
Yeah, so I was trying to Mary Seacole. Yeah, we know about Mary Seacole, but it's the others that for the Crimean War, and she's buried in Kensal Green Cemetery, but it's more the St. Mary's side of it. There's two Kensal Green in London. It splits in two, so Mary Seacole's buried in that part of the of the cemetery in Kensal Green.
Just off the Harrow Road, yeah.
That's correct.
But she also has her statue, Mary Seacole, up by the
hospital by Lambeth.
St. Thomas Hospital, I think it is.
Yes, yeah.
Right.
So yeah, she got the statue there, but her burial tombstone is in West London. And then you got, and the thing is that I know some people feel graveyards are morbid, but they hold a lot of history for Black people. If you know where to look and so on. So yeah, it does hold a lot of history.
Morbid, mate. As you say, Keith, it holds a ton.
It does. Yeah, yeah. You'd be surprised.
Yeah.
So yeah.
So Keith, there was a couple of other things.
Yes.
To be discussed here.
Yes. Yes.
Let's talk the things about, I think, Ruby Jackson.
Oh yes, Ruby Jackson. Yes. Ruby Jackson is a well, she was a trainee, and I believe she may have moved slightly further on as an entrepreneur, but she was a trainee midwife. And you know, with many young Black people, especially the ladies who have just had a child and very young, they saying that a lot of the ladies had various degree of pain threshold, and this lady developed an app especially designed to work out the melanin
the melanin in the skin.
Melanin in the skin, which I think is a brilliant thing, and I'm surprised that no one thought of that before. But I am equally proud of a young Black lady to develop this app herself. And I just pray she patented it. But the NHS have taken it on, so it looks like it is a working thing that they're looking to progress through.
It's totally amazing.
Yes.
It's totally amazing. Like, oh Lord. Ruby Jackson, she's a student midwife. And she comes up, so she's not a midwife yet. She's learning to be a midwife. Yeah. And along the way in that journey, she comes up with an app to help raise awareness of the symptoms of maternal and neonatal conditions on Black and brown skin. It's quite a phenomenal achievement, really. I mean, how did she do this? What inspired her? It'd be amazing if we could actually get her on the show.
Yes.
Here she is. It's on the BBC News website. Student creates app to improve care for Black babies. And it's very specific because I think we've spoken about this before in the past, how many of the drugs that are tested on white people and then given to us as Black people. It might not suit us. I mean, for example, sickle cell is one of those diseases that's, inherent to Black people. So, you can't be testing drugs on white people and then give it to us. We need testing for the drugs to be as effective for us. We need drugs to be tested, so to speak, on us so that those things suit us. So this app is very, very specific. It's for Black babies. She's just a trainee midwife, and the app's going to be piloted across the NHS. So particularly for women, because of course, women in hospital, we've had the news about how they're treated, Black women in hospital, right? They're not given the very best of service. And that was a report, was it a Panorama report? That came out is earlier this year, wasn't it? I remember us discussing that. So it will offer patients and clinicians visual guides to the signs of symptoms of conditions, including jaundice, preeclampsia, and mastitis. Do you know what? When you think about that, because jaundice, right? Doesn't the skin color you get? If you got jaundice, don't your skin color sort of change? The yellowishness, right?
Yellowy, yeah, yeah.
Like black people, we don't bruise like white people, do we? So a white person looking at a black baby with jaundice might not recognize it. Hang on a minute, that child look a bit pale, look a bit off. Do you know what I mean? Because obviously they're not seen through the skin. Like white people when embarrassed go bright red. Black people, we got red too, but you're not going to see it because obviously of our skin tone. It looks different. So here they provided an app, so there's not going to be any you're not going to be misguided, not going to be any confusion. Nurses, black and white, and we're talking more of the white nurses, will be able to recognize. Look, a report last year found that between 2019 and 2021, women from black ethnic backgrounds were 4 times more likely to die during pregnancy or immediately afterwards than white women. I mean, that's a problem. I mean, many ladies up in the room right here, we're dying 4 times more likely. So Miss Jackson, she lives in Streatham, and it's just amazing that she's been able to develop something that is, again, specific for black babies.
Yeah, and I am I would have thought that some of the members would feel and may have heard of this app and what she's done, because do they feel it's going to help people? Because some of the members have had children, and I think it is important. And we're just talking on a male side of things, but for the ladies, I'm hoping that it is a good thing that they feel it will help and cut death rates.
Yeah. Interestingly, so they had an NHS entrepreneur program, and Miss Jackson, she was, may I call her Miss Jackson and shall I name it? Ruby. I'm going to call her Ruby. So Ruby was given an opportunity to pitch her idea to digital health solutions companies, yeah, Amazon Web Services Healthcare, and Cognis and the Validitron. And she was named one of the winners in June, securing 12 months of mentorship. So this is a congratulations gift. 12
Absolutely.
months of mentorship and business support to create the app, which is successfully done. If Amazon takes up this app, good Lord, that's an app that can spread worldwide, isn't it?
Yeah. And that's why I think that this is so significant in 2024. I think it's an absolute breakthrough. So and as you say, if the NHS and looking to snap it up already, they know it's worth.
Right.
And they know it will do a great justice for the many thousands and thousands, millions of black and brown or Asian
black and brown
mothers. Yeah, in general.
So it's just so this at the University of Brighton, the Thelma Lackey, who's has stated she's a midwife. Sussex midwife Maggie Meyer, also a mother, said the app could mean families can access their GPs sooner before things become serious. And Thelma Lackey at the University of Brighton, she recognized that there was and is a general lack of knowledge about how symptoms presented in non-white people. So hearing is just a clear statement that we as black people go to hospital, we're underrepresented, we're dying because things aren't being noticed. And it's just marvelous that it's in 2024, yeah, but that's another step in the right direction.
Yeah.
As the song said, ain't no stopping us now. We're getting recognition. And of course, there's so much more, or there's so much more that there's so much more that is being noted and is being recognized and is being put forward for our community.
Correct.
Dare I mention this young man, Fuse, was that on your agenda there?
Yes, Fuse ODG. Yes. Yeah, he's doing great things. And I listen, and it's the good thing with Fuse is that he's probably been working on this for a while. This is another app. Okay, so Fuse ODG, if he's a famous artist, singing artist. He's developed an app for the Black and African children, or for anyone really, parents and children, to learn the Black history, and especially African history, because things that were developed and developed, but the white people or the Europeans have taken that invention or scientific knowledge from a Black person's first thoughts. Hence, he mentioned not a lot of people knew that there was an African lady in the 1800s or even before that developed the mathematical equation or cycles for women's menstrual cycle, how they can work it out. And it's only later in years that they've now developed and worked it out. It was a Black African woman that worked out what's what and working out how to do it. But in schools, and I'm sure there's ladies on this platform here and listeners probably wouldn't have known that. They may say, yeah, they did. But yeah, and it's a good thing that he's bringing this app out. That's why we want to talk about him.
You know, it's so the things we take for granted, and definitely this is one of them. This is one of them. Women can measure their menstrual cycle and so on and so forth in ways that couldn't have been done in the past, which means they have benefits now. But the recognition for how that came about was never provided, and that applies to many things across the spectrum. Let's have a listen as Charlene White talks to things with Fuse ODG. I have to call them proper.
Grammy award-winning singer-songwriter from South London, whose latest venture is to teach African history, languages, and financial literacy to kids.
By the way,
now the reason why we're laughing.
By the way, just to say for our radio listeners, there's a brief snippet there of the various songs that Fuse ODG has done, and he has sung alongside the likes of Ed Sheeran. It's quite interesting. They had a little blurb there, Tina, which stands for "This is the New Africa." It's quite interesting. But of course, Shams and Giggles, we're on YouTube, TikTok, and so on. And our conversations are posted on our YouTube, our Shams and Giggles YouTube channel. So if you're listening on the radio and you want to get the visuals of what we're discussing, hop on over to our YouTube channel and you will see these discussions that are taking place and get the visuals and all the rest of it. But back to Charlene White as she talks to things with Fuse ODG.
That was playing Fuse. Fuse DJ obviously has come into the studio. You look so young.
I know, but I even got locks now. But you know, that was the lockdown. You know, I'm now glowing. You know,
oh, I see.
The glow. We call it glow.
Don't worry, you are still aging like a fine wine. It's fine, it's fine. But you know what? This latest
you look
project.
The same as well, actually, from.
Oh, bless you.
You know what I'm saying?
Not just about me. Now you're not talking about music here tonight, though, because you've got this new project where you're wanting to educate young people about history of the African continent, the languages, etc. How and why are you doing it?
So essentially, it's an educational app that teaches Black history, African history, and African languages. The reason why is because, I don't know, if you look at the curriculum, especially growing up in the UK, being in secondary school in London, all they taught us was slavery. And if it was anything that's outside of slavery, it'd be the civil rights movement. And to be honest, it was content that, as a young African man, I wanted to disconnect. I wanted to disconnect with, because it wasn't anything to be proud of, as opposed to, you know, highlighting our contribution to humanity. So, for example, have you heard of the Lebombo bone?
No. So
the Lebombo bone is the world's first calculator discovered by African women.
Wow.
Right? And they used it to check their menstrual cycle. And Lebombo bone is essentially the oldest mathematical tool, and it's been the foundation of the maths that we have today.
That's
and that was by African women. So these are the kind of contribution that we should have been taught in school to allow our kids to see themselves in, you know, those kind of representations.
So you've got this app. So what is it that you're hoping? Does it go into schools, or can I download it for my kids?
So it's for you. It's for the parents to start with, because we've been complaining a lot about the schools, about the curriculum not actually having the correct history or telling a story the way that we need it to be told to empower our kids. So we're putting it into the parents' hands first. And once the parents, you know, it's a tool to allow the parents to build their children up. You know, and I always say to build their children up before the world tries to tear them down, because the world has such a negative view or such a one-way view of Africa. You know, but this app is here to give a diverse view, and is telling stories that people don't usually hear about.
Now, I mean, is this been triggered by your experience of moving back here? Because you were born here, you went to primary school in Ghana, and then came back here for secondary school. And you've talked before about the way that your accent, your Ghanaian accent, was mocked by kids here. Has your experience here fed into why you think this is so important?
Yeah, I had a tough upbringing and tough school experience, because I had a lot of fights just trying to defend myself because of my accent and even my name. You know, when I first got to the school and I said I'm Nana Richard Abiona, the head teacher said to me that I should call myself Richard instead of Nana. And I was thinking, why? I was confused, because I actually want people to know that I'm from Ghana. You know, I was super proud of being Ghanaian. But over time, I realized that the perception of how people see Africans was so negative that I didn't want to be called Nana anymore. You know, I wanted to disconnect from it. Like, whenever people see elephants on TV, you know, naturally they'll just start pointing to, do you know what I mean? So definitely growing up in the UK, it was such a negative experience as a child, and that's why I made it my mission to make that child proud of who they are, because there's nothing better than a child being able to be themselves and represent who they are. You know, that child should be able to go to school and say, yeah, I'm Nana. You know, with pride. And that's what's,
do you now
and that's what's happening now.
Pride? Good.
And that's what's happening now, because we've done that through the music. That's why the first album was talking about Tina, and that was realigning the world's mental image of Africa and how Africans see themselves. And now it's happening now, where Africans are so proud of who they are, and other people are now seeing Africa in a different light because of the path that we've chosen. We've chosen to highlight, not that, you know, there's issues everywhere across the world, but we chose to highlight my experience of Africa, which is like, you know, the vibrancy, the entrepreneurs, talent.
It's full of talent,
listen,
it absolutely is. And I think the way that
that
you are educating people in order to be able to highlight that even more has just been incredible. I could talk to you for the entire programme, but it's not always about you. But thank you so much for coming in.
Thank you for having me. Appreciate you, Charlene.
Well, there you have it, you know. Again, Leash mentioned this, SONA, School of New Africa. But yeah, just that little clip there with Charlene Wright, news presenter, was kind of amazing, really, because I mean, 5 minutes loaded, it going into the app that he's created, and the fuel for the app was his treatment, having come from Africa and being, you know, ridiculed in the UK. Imagine your headmasters telling you, Keith, don't call yourself Keith, just call yourself Jonathan.
Yeah, yeah, because they don't like your name, or it's too long, or it might offend the other school kids in the class.
Yeah, you know, the impact on that child.
Yeah.
And you know, the funny thing about it, I mean, we all have our history getting into fights because you're black. I mean, really, it does come down to that, isn't it? The white children don't understand black culture, black people. So they think you're a bit foreign. So they start calling you names. Next thing, they're attacking you for no reason. You haven't done nothing. And you're having to defend yourself. And that is a lived experience of many black children in school. And it's not till they get a bit older that they realize the impact it's had on them and the difference that it's made. Wonder what is with the change now, as you know, as he mentioned, that's being had on the children at school, whereby black is not the issue that it used to be, or should we say the children are more empowered now, aren't they?
Yeah, yeah. And I think also back in the days when you were at school and these issues came up and you had to defend yourselves, you didn't realize it was racism back then. You just thought someone's being rude, being, in my term, feisty, be ignorant. You stand your ground. But it's only over time, later on in life, you realize, yeah, that was a racist connotation or a racist remark or being racist. So I think, as you say now, it's more prevalent, and they try to stem it under the roof, and more people call it out. Because, yeah, so you do find, and I have found there is a lot of white people in general, right across the board, will look to defend and stand up shoulder to shoulder with a black person now and call it out.
Right, yeah.
You know, and years ago you wouldn't have that. You wouldn't have had that.
Yeah.
You know?
Yes, yeah. Because knowledge is power.
Power, yeah.
And so even white people are being empowered because they're too getting an. So as was said in the previous clip that we showed,
yeah,
it's not just black history; it is everyone's history.
Yeah.
You know, we can go to The Voice, which mentions about the new School of Africa, SONA, the digital education platform. So I think that's what it's called, the School of New Africa, SONA.
Yeah, that's right. It is. It's called, yeah, SONA. Yeah.
That's an app that anyone can literally go to Google Play Store, I'm assuming.
Yep, Play Store and download it. Yep, Play Store. Download it.
Right. And it's for the, as he said, the parents.
Yep. Educate yourself first.
It's quite interesting to hear The Voice. It says, steadfast on his mission to keep Tina, this is New Africa, at the fore of people's minds. Grammy-winning artist delivers children-focused app. It's really cool because obviously the kids can go on the app and they can learn new things. Notice a lot of the ladies in the room are rather quiet today, but this app, one of the things, like he mentioned in the discussion, there was the Libomba bone.
Yes.
And interestingly, that's a calculator.
Yeah. Yeah, scientific calculator, and later on in years down the line, now known for mathematical. But then them days, they just had that vision and knowledge, you know? So it's not just come about.
Right. You know, it'd be interesting. So what is the important? Because guys, we as men, we're not going to know this.
No, we're not.
The ladies would know it. What is the significance of understanding the menstrual cycle? I don't know. What is it? It's 12 days, and the cycle kicks in. You know, so you know, women have their period every 12 days. I mean, how does that work? Because I mean, we're guys. What did we know? Leach has got a hand up. What do we know? We're guys. So the menstrual cycle, educate us, is every 12 days. And, you know, being able to calculate 12 days in some way, shape, or form helps women. Is that how it works? Can any of the ladies in the house explain just a little bit on the cycle there? Am I right? Am I wrong? Am I misguided? Every 12 days. And this calculator helps you to figure out 12 days in. What benefit is that? He had said in the article, when I was talking with the news presenter there, Charlene White, that the mission is to help build our children up before the world tries to tear them down. Of course, in this country, they're getting teared down rather quickly. I mean, of course, if the headmaster's telling you not to use your name, you know, it's going to have a detrimental effect on your psychology. As he said, you know, he wanted to disconnect himself from the African experience as spoken about here in this country. So it's a gaming platform designed to teach African history and languages while also promoting financial literacy, and through a gaming system that, you know what, when you figure the game, the innovative in-game reward system, so you're rewarded, right?
Yes.
So here's a gaming system that rewards you for positivity. I mean, you think about these other gaming systems like the Fortnites and the Street Fighters, all the rest of it, where the kids have been rewarded for stabbing someone or doing some form of crime or da 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 da. And look how the streets have been impacted by that type of gaming. So we can only about think this is something to really be celebrated.
Yeah, it is. And I think more of us need to be celebrating it and downloading it. So hopefully the listeners, as we bring it to the wider audience, they will download it and take it forward.
No, absolutely. I mean, this is a phenomenal game. I was just sharing it with you. So SONA, which stands for School of New Africa, and this groundbreaking app, it brings out the different historical value of the Black contribution to humanity. So it looks like the ladies on the platform, they've hit menopause, so the cycle has stopped. Cycle has stopped. So the Lubumba bone is no longer of use in providing the calculation, much needed calculation of menstrual cycle. It's just a shame that, or it's of value, should I say, not a shame. It's of value that you can literally go to Google nowadays. You can find out so much information. Menstrual cycle, and I think it's 12 days. And notice when you go to Google these days, it takes you through to AI.
Yeah.
And AI gives you the first, information about it. So the menstrual cycle is a series of natural changes that occur in the female reproductive system to prepare for pregnancy. And so the Lubumba bone, the Lubumba bone, because we don't understand these things.
No.
The Lubumba bone is going to help track. Maybe I should look up Lubumba bone, because we want to give credit, Lubumba. We want to give credit to the African lady.
Yes,
and we want to give
absolutely.
her a name, don't we? Who came up with this amazing, oh good Lord, it's just a bone. The Lubombo bone is a baboon's fibula with 29 notches.
Oh.
So historians believe it was used to track menstrual cycles, making the first recorded period tracker.
Oh, wow.
29, it was discovered in the cave in the Lubombo Mountains in Eswatini. So that's around 35,000 BC. Now that's too amazing. Come on.
Yeah.
35,000 years ago, women were able to calculate their cycle.
Yeah.
And of course, look at this. According to the Universal Book of Mathematics, the Lubombo bone, I think many of the ladies in here didn't realize its value.
They didn't. I don't think they did.
You know, I mean, we can look here. I mean, you can literally go, and it just becomes a fascinating research topic. It may also have been used as a lunar phase counter, in which case African women may have been the first mathematicians, because keeping track of their menstrual cycles requires a lunar calendar.
Mm.
All right, Keith, we're learning too much now. We're learning too much. Let's just have a quickie look here, because this is Shams will give about history, news views, and this is history right here. As we talk about the Lubombo bone, it is of African heritage. And Black History Month, we have to start the things. It's the oldest mathematical. I mean, look, you can find this. I mean, there are websites. See, if we don't bring these things out, where are these things going to be found? And Fuse ODG has brought it out in this app, so the youth there. But again, remember, it's for the parents first.
Mm.
So it's for the parents to recognize the significance. The oldest mathematical artifact in the world, yeah, and of course, thousands of years old, and it was used to calculate the lunar phase, in which case African women may have been the first math, because keeping track of menstrual cycles. So obviously, ladies in the house, so that's obviously how it's something with the moon, okay? So it's broken at one end. The 29 notches may or may not be a minimum number. And in the case of other notch bones, since found globally, there's been no consistent notch tally, many being 1 to 10 range. It resembles a calendar used by the early men of the area, coming from the San clans of Namibia. So it's quite interesting. Who was the woman then? Because they said, oh, look, there's a whole story on it, Rude Boy. Look, it's in French, it seems to be. I don't know, but you can even find out more information on YouTube. So was there a woman specifically mentioned? I didn't catch that, because I wanted to give
no, I don't think there was. It's just saying that that the Black History in his app, he delves into the history and who brought certain things about. So, and you would never have learned about it at school or college in the past. So it just needs now to be spoken about and looked into, and educate the next generation.
Right. Yeah, they found it in the Congo.
Yeah.
So it was a way of keeping track. Just a phenomenal story, and of course, Fuse ODG is put it into the app. So it just goes to show that. So here is an app that teaches Black history. What else might be found, right? What else might be found and you just go to the app, download it from we download Facebook. That's an app.
Yeah. Just go to your app store,
right?
App store, and find it, and download it.
Yeah, here's an app of Black historical value. The more you know about your history, is the better your future will be, because you'll learn the benefits and such, and be able to apply that to your life. When you learn that Black people were powerful in the past, that changes, because remember, they've knocked a lot out of us, in this country. regarding our history. They haven't taught us. They taught white history. They haven't taught us our history. So we've had to step out to figure out our history.
Ourselves.
Yeah, yeah. And of course, by so doing, we become empowered. And that's what he said when I was talking with Charlene. He says that the children are being empowered. They are now proud of their heritage because they understand its roots and its value. So you can't do foolishness. So that gives them the bravado to go on and develop. Just so amazing. Mm-hmm. As we continue on,
yeah.
Footballer Nicholas Jackson.
Yes, Nicholas Jackson. Nicholas Jackson, well-known young Chelsea Football Club's striker. He's hit the news, and just like probably many other football players in giving back to their community. So Nicholas Jackson is an African player. So he's been donating food provisions, rice, flour, to the underprivileged families in Africa, especially an area that he's from. So he's just been sending over containers and lorry loads of food, which I thought it does need recognising. There is as you know, Marcus Rashford did it here for school kids and school breakfasts and meals, and he thought, and that by that time the Prime Minister at that time was Boris Johnson, and the Health Minister was somebody, I can't remember his name, and they were toing and froing because they didn't want to give the free meals to the kids who needs it, and they were arguing, and then he was pumping out of his own money, providing the meals to the schools. And I think over the time, it then put the government in bad light. Then they succumbed to what Marcus Rashford was doing and then did the food. But Nicholas Jackson is doing the same, but he's doing for overseas, you know, which just needed recognition. I thought we'll discuss that and just say, yeah, well done to him. It's a great thing to do. You have the money, you have the financial wealth to do it, and why not?
And is the country is it Senegal in Africa?
Well, he sent it in Senegal, but there was the area that he is donating it to. He actually played football there, and it is in Senegal. Yeah, it is in Senegal. But it's
the village where he was born.
Yes, that's right. And he actually started his football career there. Yeah.
Yeah. So Nicholas, he plays for Chelsea.
Yes, he plays for Chelsea. And the town or the town that he was born in is Banjul. You see it, Banjul?
Banjul, the Gambia, yeah.
Yeah. So
that's quite interesting. Oh, look, so there's born in the Gambia, not there, but that's where his mum came from.
Yeah.
But it's quite interesting that back in Senegal, Africa, giving out food to the people where he was born. Obviously, he's made a nice chunk of change playing for Chelsea, and of course, giving back to his community is the thing that touches his heart most. Let's just have a tune in to this little post. I'm not sure if I'm going to have to be reading it on TikTok.
Oh, right.
They're dancing for him.
Yeah, they're being grateful for what was given.
Black people of music, huh?
Yeah.
Love it, love it, love it. The historical significance of how in Africa, because they always do it. You see it when the World Cup's going. They always have a dance and they go.
Yeah, they do cricket, football.
Yeah,
Yeah, they've got good contingent and they're dancing.
Yeah, that's the culture, that's the historical value. And you know what? Proud.
Yeah.
Proud of the history.
Yeah.
And you know, happy to help the hometown because of course that's what's got to be done.
That's right. And yeah, and I was going to say, and just on another note on that particular thing is one of our members here, heavily involved in a charity in the same area, Smiles from Africa, you know, and they donate. So they got a branch in the UK, listeners and members, and you can always donate to them. I will try and get more information about the donation link, but it's Smiles from Africa. You can Google them and you'll find them. So, you know.
Yeah, we have to figure a way to actually, if we can get the link for Smiles of Africa, to put that on our website, Shamps and Giggles.
Brilliant. That would be brilliant.
.co.uk. So let's have a look as it gives.
Nicholas Jackson recently paid for several truckloads of food, including rice, onions, potatoes, and sugar. But that's not all. He also provided pens and books for local children. All of this was sent to his hometown of Ziguinchor in Senegal and Banjul in Gambia, where he was born and still has family. This isn't the first time Jackson has given back. He previously asked his former Villarreal teammates to donate their old boots and jerseys, which he then shipped to children in Africa to promote sports. A source told The Sun, Jackson feels very connected to his roots and wants to give back as much as possible to support the people where he was born and raised. Despite his success in the Premier League, Jackson hasn't forgotten where he came from. His generosity is making a real impact on the lives of many in Africa.
Yeah, they are.
Brilliant. Yep.
So Nicholas Jackson, Marcus Rashford.
Yeah, and many more, but they're the ones that are doing it at the moment and continue to do. I know Sterling. He also helps out in the community in the London area, especially West London in Wembley and Harlesden. He donates and provides for them in there.
Who donates in Harlesden?
Sterling.
Oh, Raheem.
Raheem went to school in Wembley. Yeah, he's at Arsenal now, but he was at Chelsea. But he always gives, you know. So yeah, so if you've got the wealth and you've got the circulation of people around you, keep providing.
Yeah. So what's the social media? Please mention social media. What's the radio stations that we're on, Keith?
Yeah, sorry. The radio station, we've got we've got a lot of radio stations that are keen for our information, which I'm going to let you guys know now. Radio listen, they are on a Monday between 6 and 8, blackcultureradio.com. On a Tuesday, 8 till 10, rhythmconnectionradio.com. Wednesday, 6 and 8, between 6 and 8, Rock Solid FM. Thursday, between 6 and 8, blackcultureradio.com. A Saturday, we're on slamradio.co.uk. And on Saturday evening, between 6 and 8, we're on Rock Solid again. And then Sunday, we're on Rhythm Connection Radio, and we're also on Mood FM. There's one more that I need to get hold of for you guys, but I will find out what they are. But we're on at least 7, 8 radio all week.
Wow! So we're on rotation. We're pretty much on the radio every day.
Every day you can hear Shamps and Giggles, especially our Talk the Ting, so you can hear that. And if you want to donate to the organisation that I said is based in the UK, but they have great ties and they do great things, Smiles for Africa, or Smiles from Africa, is www.smilesfromafrica.com. It's all one word, www.smilesfromafrica.com. Brilliant.
Just amazing. Also, I was going to say that So we're on rotation on the radio. So TikTok as well, I believe. Also YouTube.
Yes, Facebook.
Facebook as well.
Yeah, Facebook.
So we're really out there, and our mission statement. I mean, and this mission statement, you know, because we've continued on. Shamps and Giggles are avid supporters of Black businesses, entertainment, and community. We're building an infrastructure that enable our community, our businesses, and our entertainers to thrive. Just a phenomenal thing that has been happening as we're growing and developing. And we get to have guests on our platform from local businesses that enable them to promote what they're doing, so that the community. So it's a targeted focus, isn't it? People like to do business with those they know, like, and trust. So when our guests come on, and I think Dion's not here. Dion was saying, I wish she was here, because we had a guest on a few weeks ago, didn't we?
Yeah.
And it was regarding healing, health, isn't it? Yeah.
Yeah.
And I think that lady is in town this month.
Yeah.
Quite a phenomenal speaker she was, as I recall. And she's in town this month and is open to, of course, the things that were spoken of on the platform, but to have, I mean, you know, arthritis, various types of ailments. They had a product which there was so many positive reviews of. It's one thing hearing it on the radio, or seeing it on the video, or whatever, but it's another thing being there live and to actually rub shoulders with those that have had those lived experiences whereby their health has improved. Just to mention also, we are also on Instagram. Okay.
Yeah.
So, you know, so the things that we're talking about, history, news, views, and reviews from a Black perspective, which is us, it's the community. And it's great how our community feed in information. You can shampsandgiggles@gmail.com. Messages, concerns, interests can be sent there. And then we can bring them into the show, which of course, each week we do. And this week is a month of particular interest because it's Black History. And we will be talking things on Black history. In the chat, we see here, there's so much that we have. I mean, of course, we're limited by time, right? But inventor William H. Richardson, 1900, born in 1850, January 5th, in Baltimore, Maryland. He invented strollers, which was the basis of for what we have now, right? The push chair for the kids, but also wheelchairs for the infirm. William H. Richardson, time. It's just like the show just William H. Richardson. Let's see if we can just bring up a picture of the guy before we have to close the show. He was a physician, no less, and he patented the buggy, quite amazing, in Baltimore on this date in 1899. And you know, as we look at it, you know, again, guys, you can go to YouTube. This will be posted in coming days. Sunday, June 18th. 1899, a baby buggy is patented by a Black man. Just phenomenal. And you can see, obviously, the drawing, the measurements. I mean, it has to be detailed, doesn't it? There's a witness, and there's the inventor, the signature. He walked into the Baltimore patent office. So, of course, if you invent a product and you want it patented, you have to go to the office. There must be one in the UK, because it's not like Black people have stopped inventing things. We still have things that we make do, you know, and just make use of. And you know, it's always somebody else that comes along, sees what we're doing, and says, "Oh, that's a good idea." And next thing you know, they patented thing. It was his idea to use a special joint to allow the bassinet to be turned to face the operators, ladies, men. That's why when you're pushing the baby, sometimes you can have it facing so the baby can look out, but also if it's a particularly young baby, you have it facing so you can look at the baby as you're pushing them in the chair. He created the first reversible baby carriage. Several changes were made that allowed his carriage for the wheel to turn individually, which meant that the vehicle could turn 360 degrees in a smaller turning radius. Yet another invention by Black people. Look, guys, for our radio listeners, we just want to thank you for joining us. We're here every week. Visit us through all the channels that were mentioned. But from us for now, we will be saying goodbye. Thank you very much. Art the Tigs, history, news, views, and reviews from a Black perspective. Shouts and giggles. A lot of his